Just because I love you, it don't mean I trust you. Everybody not to be trusted. Everybody around me thugging. Everybody around me drugging. Everybody around me hustling. Everybody know not to bring no new riggin' around me. They say I be bugging. Got racks in the go yard luggage. Just cause I love you, it don't mean I trust you. Everybody not to be trusted.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Quentin Flores, and this is Uncut with Q. Guys, if you look at the episode that we did on episode 63, which I believe right now this is the release of episode 65, we've been doing this for a while now, and we made a commitment to all of you guys that we're going to be dropping at least 3 episodes every single week, okay? As you can expect one on Monday, you can expect one on Wednesday, you can expect one on Friday. And each episode, if this is your first time listening, has different topics. I do a Q&A. So if you guys go to www.quentinflores.com/askq, you can drop your questions there. We haven't been getting a lot of love on YouTube, guys. So I know you've been listening to the audio because we see these things. We track these things. We know these things. Go to YouTube and check it out. The real life stuff where we're here and you can see us is a little bit different than just listening to us. And also, if you go to YouTube and you drop your questions in the comment section, my partner Aaron and I, we will answer them here on the show for you guys. With that being said, man, we have multiple different types of shows. We have a Q&A show, we have Mindset with Mitzi, we have Q and Trey Surf the Internet, and we also have Real Talk, where I come on here and I say some things that I feel that you guys need to hear. Now, today's show is one of my favorites. We call these ones full length, where I bring on an amazing guest who has done some crazy ass shit in their life that has been able to either overcome some hardships, they're professional in their field, they've been able to make a name for themselves in their industry and whatever it is that they're currently doing, whether it be weight loss, real estate, business, entrepreneurship, mindset, whatever. We bring so many different types of people on here. So that is the premise of today's show. If this is your first time listening, then you understand that we have what's called the fee. And the fee is very simple. The fee is, if you get value from this show, we don't pay, I don't pay for ads on this thing. You'll never hear a single ad on this show. We don't even accept sponsorships. People try to give us money to do this show. I spend money to get the show going. And you know, we love doing it. We love investing in it, right? And I believe that the world operates on the best on a form of value exchange, all right? And so all I ask, guys, if there's something that my friend and I talk about today that changes your perspective or causes you to make a switch in your life for the better, or you gain something and it challenges your traditional way of thinking, then share this show. That's all I ask. And I'm not saying just share this shit on social media, because anybody can do that. I mean, like, tell your inner circle about it. Tell your 5 friends that you really care about what you learned today, all right? So that's how I believe this world should operate. I love value exchange, so this is us giving that to you. And if you guys like it, share it. If you don't like it, we're gonna try to do better on the next one, all right? So with that being said, I have an amazing guest here in front of me, man. Go on ahead and introduce yourself to the world.
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name's Nick Disney. I'm a real estate investor. Primarily, we focus on single-family real estate investments. Really, if we drill that down even more, focused on creating positive cash flow month after month.
Dude, I love it, man. Nick, how long have you been doing this business?
Man, I'm right about 15 years now.
Wow.
And so a lot of bumps, you know, a few bruises,
sure.
but I've learned a few things. And,
I love it, man.
You know, we like to think we've got a, pretty streamlined now and can produce, a good outcome.
You operate here out of San Antonio as well?
Out of San Antonio, probably 95% of what we do is in San Antonio. We do have a few things like in the lower valley and a couple one-offs out of town that just
Gotcha.
fall in your lap.
Yeah.
And but man, the vast majority of what we do is right here in San Antonio.
That's amazing, man. Well, 15 years of experience, I'm positive that just doesn't happen overnight. I mean, I'm talking like you've probably been through the gutter on this stuff. Were you always in real estate?
No, I did a few things, I went to college and I definitely valued the experience. I don't know that I use the degree that much now, but I probably matured a lot and I had a really good time. But I worked in sales for a long time,
okay.
and that's also another skill set that you develop over time. But I've always liked real estate. I like houses. I understand them, and I like being in a field where I understand the pieces, how they work, and man, it's a spot where you can start small if you got very little and you can grow it, really as much as you want to grow it.
Dude, I think that there's this stigmatism around like the idea of going to college. I know like right now there's this crazy hustle culture on the internet, man, and it's like very vast. You got a whole bunch of people that are like, I'm talking like early 20s saying, screw college, don't go to college, man. And it's just like, I don't think somebody's wrong for wanting to go to college. Like if they want to go to college, then by all means live their life. You know what I mean? But I think like for me, I never made it to college. But when I was in school, I felt like I gained some really great skill sets. Even though I didn't get a degree and I never even got my diploma, not even my GED. I don't have any of those things. But I can't say that I didn't learn that I had a gift when I was in high school and even in middle school. I was always like hanging out with every crowd, never just popular. Wasn't like a popular kid, but I was really cool with every kid. And I think that was like a skill set that I got. You know what I'm saying? What do you think was a valuable skill set that you attained when you were in college that at least you put into this business, if it be anything?
Well, I think I agree with you, right? One path isn't right for everybody. If you want to go get a corporate job, absolutely nothing wrong with it, and that's your future, then you may need a college degree to do that, and that can be great. But it does, not that you're going to use organic chemistry every day in most professions, but it does show that you're disciplined enough to show up, go to the class, take the knowledge, you can retain the knowledge, and you can reproduce it, which those types of skills you use in most professions. I mean, in real estate or in whatever you're doing, you need to be able to learn new things, and you need to be able to use them, reproduce them and use them from day to day. So I think that's definitely there. And I think, you get to college, you're 18 and a half years old, you're probably not the most mature individual on the planet. So it also gives you a little time to become a little more mature and learn a few things. And man, I got some great friends from it, and I still very successful people in totally different fields. We still work today. It gives you a different network as well. There's different things you can do where you knew these people, a lot of years ago, but you still know them now. And so there are definitely advantages depending on, where you see yourself going.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like the sale is always going to change directions in life. You're going to find something and then boom, you're going to resonate with it. And, that's kind of how it happened with me. Because before real estate, dude, I was in multi-level marketing and I dreaded it. I was part of Amway.
Okay.
Amway, the worst products that anybody could sell. No offense to the people who are doing Amway that are watching this, but you can't sell something you don't believe in. And was my problem. Like I can't justify spending $150 for a laundry detergent that's going to last me 6 months, only one scoop. Like, okay, but I could have used that same amount of money and bought a whole bunch of Bounty and that would have been it.
Been just fine.
And, it's just multi-level marketing is just it's a numbers game. And so I learned a lot about recruiting and sales and people and the psychology around people, but real estate just kind of happened to me. How did real estate happen to you? Like when you got in and then you started learning about all of this, like where did the beginning happen?
Where real estate happened to me was it something you could do, you work in your 9-to-5 job, but you could do it in the off hours, which works for a lot of people because most people don't just have a ton of money and can't just quit. Some can, but I was able to do that. First house I bought, it's the total fixer-upper, and I did it all myself, which is a terrible idea. I would never do that. We don't do it now. But it was something I could do. I could do it over time. You increase the value, and then you have a product that's worth more, thousands of dollars. Sold that house, moved to another house, and then not a super unique story. I read all the books. I read the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books and all the other ones that I could get, and I read them all. I was like, okay. And then once I figured out the cash flow where you could create monthly cash flow is going to come every month. And I can remember getting my first, it was like $289 was the difference like on my first rental property. And I'm like, wait a minute. I felt like I had a lot of money at that point, but I was like, if I could just repeat this and I could just do it over and over again, man, that's a win. And so just started growing and, it's not an overnight success. It takes a long time, a whole lot of years like this. And then finally when you really catch it and then it takes off, man.
I love the perspective that you're given too on the idea of working your job and then working the business. Dude, I'm telling you, man, when I say that the hustle culture on social media is real right now, there's just too many people that are like, burn the bridges, burn the boats. We're not going back. This is it, And so, what do you think about that?
Well, I think sometimes there's a time to burn the boats. That is not a blanket statement for everybody. A mentor that I had, that I still have, has helped me a ton. I was ready to burn the boats, and he was like, hold on there, right? And he was right, because he was like, hey man, stay there for a little bit. You still got time. You got all the hustle, and you can still have all the hustle in the world. Because here's what happens: this hustle culture of you got to burn the bridge and you got to work 8 hours a day at this next thing in your future. Well, that's fine, but you can work 8 hours a day. You still got a lot of hours left. If you say you got all this hustle, okay, well you got off at 5. What did you do from 5:01 till you went to sleep? If what you did was do nothing but watch Netflix, and sit around, did you really have the hustle? That's a lot of hours. And you can really set yourself up for success and create a lot of cash flow or whatever you're in, right? You create this other income that's coming in, and then after a while you look back and you say, man, I mean, I'm not tied to this, right? I can do what I want now. So are there times to burn the boats? Yes. Is that a blanket statement that everybody that has absolutely no idea what they're doing should just burn the boats? No, because it's not going to work out for everybody.
Especially people who have like family, man. Like, dude, if you got kids and a wife, and you're trying to say, like, you're listening to this dude on the internet yelling at you, telling you to burn the boats, and then you're like impacted by that, and you're like, inspiration, boats, they need to be burned. Like, no, dude, you got to look and think for a second and really analyze that step. Are you ready to burn the boats yet? I think that's the first question that people should ask themselves. Because if you're ready, then you can take that risk, but not at the sacrifice of your family and the security that's behind that 9 to 5. Because if you leave this, and if you leave this the wrong way because somebody's telling you to just fire your boss, there could be a huge chance that you might not be able to go back to that, and this might not work. I mean, we're investors for a reason. I take risk all the time.
Sure.
I took a risk on a property, lost $80,000. I've done it and lost $300,000. I've been in that notion so many times where investments go bad. And, the market doesn't offer refunds.
No, it does not.
So it's like, it offers lessons though. And so you get a chance to like learn, okay, this is a mistake that I made. Now I know how to solve a $300,000 problem. And you get grateful for that, right? But like, dude, like for me, when my wife and I had our son, I at the time was still doing part-time construction and doing a whole bunch of side jobs. And if I could mow your lawn, I would do that. If I could hack a tree down for you in the backyard with an axe, so give me it, $100, and I'll get it done in a few hours. I had a lot of side jobs, and I was also a performer. So I was spinning fire around town at bars in San Antonio. I'm a fire spinner.
Okay.
Random.
Yeah.
My brother taught me when I was 12, and it's just a skill set that I randomly picked up. So it's like, I had all these small jobs and side hustles, and I was selling weed at the time. This is like a different version of me. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I love business. And so, even I knew then, being in that field, that I should still do this while doing this, because I'm not going to sacrifice losing my house and the house that my wife and my son live in, So there has to be like a work hustle balance in that. And I think you're absolutely right. With the 9 to 5 thing, if you're going to have a 9 to 5, you should figure out a way to work that plan and then have another plan that you have in place. How long did it take for you to really see consistent income enough where you were comfortable enough to make that jump? I'm assuming that you have kids and that you're married.
I am. I have married. I got 3 kids.
Wow.
So that, whether you got 1 kid, 3 kids, everybody, I mean, that comes with a lot of responsibility and,
Well, let's be real, dude. 3 kids is like that same responsibility that one has times 3. So that's kind of like, my guy likes to go all in,
But I mean, years. I don't know how long it was. But you get better, and you do get to a point where you're like, wait a minute, I know I can do this. I know that I can produce. But for me, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen over the first couple of years. One of the reasons I like starting in real estate, and it's not a pie in the sky dream idea. I did it, and I'm not better than anybody else. But I mean, I had like $8, a dog, and not a whole lot else when I started. So if I can start with that, they can start with that. And I really believe it, right? I really, really believe that. And you just have to work harder, and you just have to keep going. But you have to work smart too, right? You have to get around the right people, make the right decisions, and it will build over time. And you will see over time, and then you'll start to look at it, and you'll look at this side income and this side income, and you're like, man, okay, I'm gonna bet on me, and I'm going for it.
Was your wife supportive of all of this?
I think she's supportive of me. Everybody in their house runs the dynamic different. She doesn't care to be a part of the business. That's
Mine too.
Yeah, she doesn't want to.
Mine too.
No problem.
Fist bump on that.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to
all
do this.
good.
That's your thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm okay. I'm not trying to push her into it. I know people that are like tag team, and that works for them.
I couldn't imagine being in business with my wife, bro. I love her to death. But like owning a business with her, I don't know.
I think everybody has to make their own choice.
I leave
But,
socks on the floor and I'm afraid to go home
well,
for my life.
Don't be making those mistakes, man.
Yeah, I
All
made that
right?
mistake this morning. I just was in a rush.
But I don't know where I was at on that.
No, we were talking about like
she
wife being
support-
supportive and then you guys
yeah.
not doing the same thing.
I think she's supportive of me. I think she believes in me. Does she want to be into the business? Is she? She's probably more risk averse than me. You know,
Wow.
like, hey, are you sure? And I'm like, I really am. I got it. And all support and well, now obviously it's a little easier because there's over time you become more successful and we benefit from that as a family. So now, yeah, I mean, she's like, just go do your thing.
That's awesome, dude. And I had the same experience too. My wife is a performer, so she does. She's a singer, writes songs. She can dance like crazy. She'll be on stage just blowing everybody away. She gets booked to perform at big shows with like opening up for big artists and whatnot. Cool. She raps and everything too. And she's a painter. She's just a creator. That's what I call her.
Okay.
And when I met her, it was in the fire spinning scene. She would come to the club and I would hang out with her and I thought that she was really pretty and I would spin fire and perform trying to look cool in front of her, and eventually we got together, but she was with a different version of me. And as I started to get older and I started to gravitate toward business, she was always just supportive of that, just anything that didn't require me to possibly get in trouble or hurt myself or burn myself alive, And so we have a really awesome relationship now. And she's like full-time stay-at-home mom, but I also have like a fund set aside for her so that she can focus on her passions, which is always just creating, and so that's where we find balance in that, and she doesn't have to be in real estate. Like I like what you had said earlier. You were like, we do different things. She trusts me. She trusts me enough to say that this is your thing and you do what you need to do to take care of everything that we need to take care of. I got the same thing going on, and I think it's a beautiful synergy. I don't think that people should be forcing their significant others to run a business with them or feel that they're out of alignment just because they don't have the same income goals. Like as a man, I lead my house in everything that I do. And so it's like, if I'm going to come home, I'm coming home with food. I'm coming home with fish. I'm coming home with meat. We are going to eat, and I'm going to make sure that we're filled and that we're fulfilled, And so I think that it's very admirable, man. As you started like getting traction, you mentioned that like a flip was like one of your first things that you did. You don't just do flipping though, right?
No, I mean we still flip, but we do less. Our primary focus is owner finance now.
Wow.
So we'll buy the property, we fix the property, we'll sell the house, and we carry back the note. And so, simple terms, we're creating a mortgage, and then we'll keep some of those. It's the best cash flow on the planet. That's my opinion. Everybody can have their own. But we also have ones that we sell too, because we've been doing it a long time. We've learned all the stuff not to do, and we have a great system of the stuff to do. And so we can put them through there. And we've got some great home buyers. They don't have a great credit score, but they're solid as a rock people. And just because they may not have built this credit, they don't have bad credit. There's no issues like that. They're great homeowners, home buyers, and we have a ton of success with it. And that's primarily where we focus now. Still doing the flips, and we have a portfolio of rentals as well.
I've noticed that whenever owner finance individuals that primarily focus on that strategy try to sell it to an end buyer, it's never the fact that they have a low credit. Like there's a difference between having bad credit and low credit score. It just means I haven't gotten a chance to establish good credit, but my credit isn't bad for the wrong reasons. And so like you have a process that kind of vets them out. Because if you see a guy who has 4 repos and freaking obviously,
Not happening.
It's funny because they'll still get financed somewhere,
Somebody can do it. But
yeah. I mean, what do they call that? Predatory loan or something like that, right? When you just take someone's money?
Yes, and there are people out there, and they do what they do. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want any part of it. We have great people, so we sold 2 this morning, owner finance. They closed this morning before we came over here. I was at the first one. I mean, these folks, dual income family, husband and wife both work. They've saved $25,000 to put down on this house. The house we sold them is 160,000, I believe, right? So they put down
Wow.
25 grand. 2-income family. They don't have established credit, but guess what? They have no other credit. They have no truck payment. They have no credit card payment. The only fixed debt payment they have is our mortgage that we just made for them.
Wow.
2-income family, worked hard, and also you see the other thing. Yeah, 25,000. Nobody wants to lose that. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
They worked really hard to save that, but it also shows you that they weren't wasting it on Bud Light and partying every weekend. They would have never saved that. They worked really hard. They committed. You tell me that person isn't reliable to make their mortgage payment, you're crazy, right? You know, I mean, they're going to make it. They're super excited, you know, it's their first home. They're ready to move in. They can't wait. And I mean, we do make money. It's obviously profitable, but
Of course.
there's a lot worse things, because when you see them so happy because they didn't think they could ever own a home, and they literally bought one today. And I would bet money there's never going to be a problem. These people will just pay and they'll live their life, and it's great for everybody. Win for us, win for them.
I love it, man. And you know, you guys are giving people the opportunity to buy their first home. Some of these guys have gone to every single bank in town and just got denied, you know? So like, we're not bad people. We made a lot of money doing what we do. We're making a lot of money doing what we do. We just never established credit. We have decent credit, but it's not the best, and it's not bad for the wrong reasons. It's just not high enough for the bank to say, here's your FHA and put a stamp on it, you know? So it's like, I think it's a beautiful business model, man, because you get the opportunity to really help people, dude. Like, people are really wanting ownership right now, especially in this market. And with the interest rates like where they're at right now, owner finance ain't even that much worse than the interest rate that's in.
It's not that much higher. I mean, it's the typical market rate. You know, we're 9.9 to 11.9. That's what the typical owner finance.
Absolutely. It's standard.
It
it's
is,
nationwide. People do that.
Yeah. We'll do a 15, 20, or 30-year mortgage. We make sure they qualify. We qualify everybody. You know, we want everything through the RMLO. It is up and up. And we don't have to... There's no tricks. It's really simple. And when you can find the right people, match them with the right house, you create a great win-win, and they just pay and pay and pay, and they're super happy. I mean, we've had several people, they're just crying because they're so happy. And I'm like, I'm not some, great philanthropist, but because like you said, yeah, we make money, but there's a lot worse ways you could do it than when these people are just so overjoyed and you give them a house. I mean, it's a great win-win, increases the cash flow. It's really it's my favorite part of the business that we do.
People that own car dealerships close people on getting 30% APR vehicles, and they're very happy that they were just able to get a vehicle, man. And so for some people, just even attaining it doesn't matter, you know? And you're helping people at the end of the day. It's always the best feeling in the world doing that, because, you know, there's this guy, his name's TD Jakes, one of my favorite pastors, black pastor, I believe he's based in Houston. I may have butchered that, but whatever. But nonetheless, T.D. Jakes said this thing. He said, in all the years of God being God, he never once created a tree. He never once created a table, and he never really fixed a chair or made one, right? He just gave us the tree. And what we decided to do with that tree was our gift to him, you know? And so you can work hard all your life. And when God gives you these gifts, he gives you skill sets, he gives you labor, he gives you opportunities, he gives you jobs. Granted, however it may have came, you know, there's a lot of great people who don't have the best credit scores. When I say great people, I've had tenants that didn't have the best credit scores. I own 44 properties. With my portfolio, the best paying tenants are exactly like those guys that you finance. They pay on time. They work so hard. They every time, you know, I even got guys that'll pay a whole year in rent and try to do that up front. I'm like, I can't, I love it, but I can't do that. You know, you pay me every month, man. Money stays in your pocket. And when it's my time, then you can pay me, you know?
We're good. I appreciate it.
And so, you know, it's like what you do with your gifts is your gift to him. And that's how I've always seen it, you know? And so, it is a beautiful concept, man. Now with the owner finance and the creative finance thing, and all the stuff that you've been doing with creative finance, there's this. Not gonna say it's like a battle. I'm gonna say like it's a difference in opinion. Okay. Because you were mentioning that creative finance is one of the best ways that you can make money, right? And I do like that there's security here, because here you're sealing a note for 30 years, 15 years, 20 years, however the time frame may be. You're going to get that money, right? There's like a security. On top of that, you don't have to worry about the, whatever they do to the property that's their property now. As a tenant or as a landlord, you have full liability of that house, insurance and all. Which strategy do you prefer? And I've only ever asked this question to one other person, and he actually favored the landlord. So I'm interested in knowing this. Which one would you choose if you had to throw both in the air and you wanted to catch one? Creative finance or being a landlord?
Owner finance.
Owner finance?
Every day. Now, we own our own portfolio of rentals, so I'm not against rentals. It's not knocking rentals at all. But you need to decide, what are you looking for? Because if it's cash flow, owner finance is better. And here's why I say that, because even our rentals, to your point earlier, we still pay the taxes, we still pay the insurance. There's going to be more turnover with tenants. I mean, tenants leave. They stay, even if they stay a few years, they're going to leave. Now you're down a month. Well, now you got to make ready that property or even rehab that property. I mean, we just got one back that was totally trashed, and it happens from time to time. A lot of times we get them back great, but happens. So if you want cash flow, I believe owner finance is absolutely the way to go. The other part of that is, I think your plan should be your plan, just like my plan should be my plan and anybody else. On the rentals, why we keep them and we've had a lot of success is when you look at that net worth piece, that helps a lot, because you purchase this property here, probably force some appreciation in there. So, the property's at a higher value, and then over time, that mortgage or whatever you have on it's going to go down, the property value is going to go up.
Get that bubble.
And especially for me, looking at the business, when things went up a couple years ago and the prices went through the roof, all these rentals we had, all of a sudden on paper, you look like a genius, because they just shot through the roof, and they're like, hey, man, look how much these are worth now. So your net worth shoots up a lot, and you can use that at other banks. You can take those rentals to banks, and they will give you lines of credit and other money through them. So we use it for the business, and there's a big value in that piece. But at the end of the day, I've sold enough houses owner finance. I mean, I got ones, I don't even check to see if you paid, because these people haven't missed a payment 6, 7 years. I mean, I'm gonna get an email if somebody doesn't pay, right? But
of course, yeah.
I don't look. They're gonna pay every time, right? And that part, you really are free from that part of the business. You're still making the cash flow, which is something I'm super passionate about. And you can go do the other things or work on other parts of your business or something else. I mean, if you like to paint, whatever you want to do.
I think that it's also very like the peace of mind that's on that, because like when you do the owner finance part, you're now the bank. So it's like, regardless of whether or not that house goes up in flames, that insurance policy going to cover everything, and I still make my money because they still have to pay my note, or the insurance pays the entire note off. And there you go. It's one less property, and you have like a concealed amount of money that you're making for a specific time. I there's a friend of mine in town. His name's Charles Hernandez. Love this guy. He has a company called Home Buying, Home Selling. Him and Mike have a RIA that they run, and his business partner. So that was my entry into creative finance. They helped me make $140,000 on one house, a single family home. Oh yeah, they're great. And I've also brought in them tremendous value. I've showed them also social media, which is like, I'm so much better at other things than that, I promise you, but this is something that I'm pretty decent at, I guess. I told Charles this because they primarily focus on doing owner finance, but what they'll do is they'll find properties that are in default, and then they'll take over the mortgages using subject to. They'll put those properties into a trust, and then they'll sell those properties on a wrap, and then they'll have loan 2 pay for loan 1. And that's how they're able to collect their passive income, the difference at that. I mean, we're talking like $500 to $1,500 per house. That's how crazy those payments are. And they're able to find these properties that will, they still have that 2.3, 2.5% interest rate, and they're not at this, so the payment's crazy low. And on the wrap, they're selling it at 10, 9.
Sure.
So it's like, it's a no-brainer, right? Obviously, there's risks to that because you could get the loan default called on you, or however you call it.
Not if you make the payment.
Due on sale, yeah.
You could, but
that's why they put it in a trust. Apparently, the trust is a good safeguard on it. Doesn't guarantee that nothing guarantees that the due on sale won't be called. But, I talked to Charles, right? So Charles, good friend of mine. He's actually related to my wife. We found out through fucking Ancestry.com. And so, Charles, he calls me. He's just like, yo, what's up, man? I was like, bro, I want to ask you something, man. Like, how come you do all this rap stuff, but you don't do the buy and hold stuff over here? And, you know, I mean, buy and hold's great for me. I have over $1 million in equity. On paper. I'm considered a millionaire in the eyes of the bank. I can go get a loan right now. They love me. I get mail in like all the time in my inbox. Here's a loan, give you equity, bro. I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna let it cook and I'm gonna keep growing my net worth. That's how I've always seen it, you know? Like, how come you don't do that? And he's like, Quentin, I'm 59 years old. What am I gonna hold a property for 30 years? You think I'm gonna make it to 96? And in my head, I was just like, whoa, dude, I started tearing, man, because I genuinely love this man, you know? And in my head, I'm just like, I didn't even think about that. He's like, I'm not leaving my kids rentals, dude. I'm leaving them paper. Okay. And that paper has just as much power as that rental property. You know, banks don't own the real estate. They own the paper that's attached to the real estate. They're not in the business of flipping houses. That's what he told me, you know? And I was just like, I don't want to be in that business. I'm trying to secure a specific amount of wealth. What my kids decide to do with it when I'm gone, that's them. But I'm going to keep on doing these 30 years. 30 years. And I'm going to do them all the way until I'm old enough and I can't do them anymore. And I'm just like, damn. Hey, but you know what do you think about that?
Man, you know, they have a slightly different business model than us. I mean, I don't know them personally, but I'm sure they're real good at it. I like the notes because, I don't know, I'm an active person. I work really hard. I like to be doing stuff. So I don't know that I ever really want to retire, but I want the option. And I think the option is there more with the notes and the paper, because those payments come in. And the rentals are good. The rentals are good over time. They're just not going to make the cash flow, not the monthly cash flow.
Yeah, and you need so many of them to really make good money.
So many, because you know, I mean, you've
dude, on my properties, bro, I'll be real with you. Like, I don't make a lot of money. For having 44 houses, I don't make a lot of money.
It doesn't make that much. You know, I realize that. I mean, I'm sure it's in a ton of books. I'm sure you read these too, right? You get your 10 rental properties, and then, hey, you're a landlord. You know, you put your feet up. You got so much cash flow. I got 10 of them, and I was like looking around. I was like, man, I don't really have that much money coming in here. This is not what the book said. It just wasn't, man. And so once I learned about owner finance, and I learned what it could create and what we could do, and which product it works really well with. And you create some successful notes. I was like, man, this is pretty good right here. So personally, if you want to grow to, depending on what everybody's goal is, if you want to grow to a high enough level, I like actually a mix of both, because they do two very separate things. But if you got to make me choose, I'm going to choose owner finance.
I love it too. And I am an active income guy. Like, if I'm going to make money, it needs to be in large chunks. Just love doing that. There's something about that $20,000 down payment, you know? I was just taught differently at the beginning. Just to give you some background on me, Nick, I started out as a Lifestyles Unlimited member.
All right.
And that was in 2012, 2013, dude. I learned about real estate investing fresh out of prison, and I ended up getting in trouble for weed, and it threw my life into a whirlwind of things where at this point I was like, I need to find something that's going to make as much money as this, if not more, you know? And so I was just stupid. I was young and just stupid, you know? And I'm glad that I went through those things, because it really turned me into a man. Because at the time I was just a boy, bro, just a kid, confused, angry at his childhood, angry at a lot of things. And so having to like grow from that and put some trauma behind me from things that I went through when I was younger, you know, I finally joined a company, and I used $5,000 to pay for that mentorship, and I became a Lifestyles Unlimited member. I was the only dude there that was 22. Everybody else was like, bro, they're like fucking 55, 60, and they're already like very rich and saved up millions of dollars to buy real estate. I'm like, now being a guy that runs seminars, where the fuck do you find people like that, you know? Anyways, but I just remember my mentor's name was David Fisher, and David used to always tell me, he's like, you're a purple Martian, Q. I said, what does that mean? He's just like, because you think that the most important part of the house is the AC unit. That's what he asked me that question. You know, I didn't know it was the foundation. I mean, it was hot. It was summer. It's July. You know,
AC. They go out all the time.
I'm gonna go to the AC. That's important to me. I'm not gonna be in that house with no AC unit. You know, and so I told him, you know, it's just like, dude, like this requires a lot of money, and I just don't have it. I don't even have the credit, and everybody here has money. I don't. You know, and he's just like, Q, you don't need money to get into real estate. I'll never forget that. When that was said to me, that changed everything. Because at that point, I really started diving in. But, you know, they taught the BRRRR strategy. Buy hard money, use it to rehab the property, cash out refinance, conventional loan, then carry it over. You get money up front because you're building equity in the home. You bought the house at a discount, enough for the hard money to cover the rehab, zero out of pocket deal, even though you spent money to get everything going. Yeah, you get the money back. It doesn't mean that you didn't spend something, you know, zero out of pocket. I would assume like, here's zero, you know.
That is not how it works.
It's not how it works at all. And so I'm sitting in the seminar and I'm just like, what's going on? Like, I don't have the money to do this. The investors told me that if I found them deals, that I could sell it to them. So that's what I started doing. I started just knocking on doors, driving for dollars, going out places, writing addresses down, looking at every single messed up house that I could, knocking on that door, seeing if they wanted an offer, connecting the investor to it, and he would pay me $1,000 for each one. And so I made good money. Then I found out that I can control the contract and sell it for more, you know. But the reason why I'm saying that is because at the beginning, I was just taught rentals. And as I've grown into the space, I just love the idea of there being so many exit strategies, you know. And really, owner finance, God, it's such a great model. My friend Sam, I think he has like, I don't know.
Oh, there's no telling, man. He's been around a long time.
10,000 notes, maybe. He's been doing this shit since like 81.
I have no idea, but I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah. His son just bought a house from us.
Okay.
Eduardo.
All right. I met Eduardo. But,
they're all great people.
Yeah.
You know, I love San Antonio as a really tight knit real estate community.
Oh, yeah.
And most of us work with each other. I'm not going to say that I haven't experienced some bad instances. I think in any market you can, right? But like people like yourself, you know, like just calling you. And when I called you, for everybody that's listening to this, it's pretty cool, to be honest. Like, this is really cool. This has never happened to me before. In all my years of doing this, this has never happened, you know. But I called Nick because Nick was buying a property a while ago. Say it's almost 6 years ago. We were trying to buy that property. And so, you know, his name was on a document, and that was like, you know, this part of the closing. I need to call Nick and get him to release it, you know. And so I did a video on the internet about that, and his friend sent it to him and basically said that I was a piece of crap for saying things. And I look back at the video because, like, you know, you can go back, and I saw it and I was like, yeah, that kind of came off mean, but I was really just trying to give value, you know, and the essence of it got messed up. And so I called Nick again, and Nick said, you know what, Q, how about this, man? I'll go and I meet you in person, and we talk it out. And I was like, bro, how about we do it better? Let's put it on the podcast.
True story.
And now we're here, you know, and Nick's going to work with me on this deal, and I'm going to help Nick out with what he has going on too in his business, because I'm a marketing guy, you know, so I try to give as much value as I can. But it's a mutual exchange here. This doesn't happen in any market.
No, I mean, each of us could have handled it differently, and there's a lot of people that would handle it different. Yeah, did I love, you know, the post? Probably not at first. We talked about it. You know, you're like, you know, maybe that came off a little bad. You know, you said, hey, man, my bad. You know, I feel like you were genuine about it. No problem. But I also think about it to your earlier point. Yeah, we could get in some big argument and fight about it, but it's probably not going to help either one of us. Or we could talk about it, like you said, and, you know, I had one idea, you had a better idea, so I was like, okay, let's just run with that, and now everybody wins. And it's very, very doable. A lot of people get focused on, well, me, and I got to get everything. And we're in San Antonio. There's enough houses for all of us.
Literally, man.
There's
and
so
I don't think a
many
lot of
deals.
people have that kind of mentality.
They do not. But there are good people out there, and, like, you know, I'm sure we've worked with a bunch of the same people. But I do believe, you know, if you can talk it out, both be reasonable, and now we have a more positive outcome. I mean, give me a downside. I don't see one, you know, so.
I love it, man. And I think it's that very same level of mindset that you have that has gotten you as far as you've gotten, doing the amazing things that you're doing for the people that you love and care about, you know? Because I'm telling you, man, there's just so many ways things can go. You know what I mean? And I always choose love. I always try to, okay, this is a situation. How can I add value to this guy? You know? And so that was my premise on inviting you in here. And you had an idea. I was just like, let's take what he's asking for and let's amplify it even more. And I'm very grateful meeting people here in San Antonio, because, you know, there's we really got to just work together somehow, man. If I can't add value to you in your real estate business, I know a whole bunch of other things. And so I think that the world revolves best when it's in the form of value exchange.
I agree. I really do. you know. So appreciate you having me.
Of
Really,
course,
yeah.
man. Of course. I appreciate you being on the show, Nick. For everybody that's watching this right now, man, where can they follow you? How can they get in touch with you? You know, I know there's a ton of people that are going to want to pick your brain about this whole thing. And there's a ton of people that have deals to send you because we have a huge community in San Antonio.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Instagram, you know, we started that out, trying to put out some great information out there. Real estate _ Nick, and then the number 1. I'm not number 1 yet, but I'm trying to get there.
Let's go.
If they check it out, if you guys want to follow that one, appreciate it. You can ask me a question there. Also, the company website, sellmysanantoniohouse.com. That's mainly our branding website where we market a lot, and people can see how we market online through the website. Or if they want to check us out there, my email's on there, phone number's on there, or send a message to the website. Love to hear from you guys and see what you got going on.
I appreciate you being on the show, Nick. Guys, y'all make sure you follow Nick, and y'all make sure you're hitting him up for all your real estate needs and more. All right?
All right.
Thank you guys so much. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Let's get it.